Welcome to Climbing Together, the Small Business Experience. I'm Beth Houtrow, the founder of Climb the Small Business Book Club, and our episode today is brought to us by the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center of the San Francisco Bay Area. Every episode, I talk to a small business owner about a mistake that they've made and what they learned from the experience. Mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible, so let's embrace the mistake. And today, we're so excited to welcome Ana Boa-Ventura to the podcast. Ana, tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Hi, Beth. So good to be here with you. So I'm Portuguese, and I came to this country a while back to do my PhD, and I just stayed. My agency, I call it a one-woman show. It's called the One Insight, oneinsight.com. And it's an agency that's really a all-in-one kind of solution, because I work with people on branding, marketing, and web development, mostly small business owners. And then one thing you don't know, Beth, is that I'm starting a new venture, and that's called Portucali. And that's why I said I was Portuguese. That's addressed to Californians wanting to relocate to Portugal, and assisting them with the whole process of relocation, learning the language, the culture, the history, and the logistics of the relocation process. So those are my two things.
That's a great idea. I know a lot of people who are looking at Portugal as a good place to move. So, all right. Awesome. Well, good luck with that venture. Well, let's jump right into it. I know you've been an entrepreneur here for a little while. Talk to me about a mistake that you've made, or some misconception, something that you didn't get quite right kind of early on.
I think it's very important to allocate time to your business, and really not start, maybe I can do this tomorrow. I'm not feeling too inspired today. It's a bit like your gym, your exercise. You need to do it, whether you feel like doing it that day or not. Just a few days back, my husband was trying to convince me to binge on Fargo. And it was difficult to say no, but it was on the slot of time that I had allocated to my new business. So, I just said no. And it's very easy to just not do that. And there's so much stuff that we need to do on a daily basis. I don't have kids, but, women with children, very, very difficult to find the time for your life and for your family, and for your business. So for me, that was the misconception I had, that I could, find time at some point. No, you really need to have the good old calendar and block times, and just respect those slots of time, and your family needs to respect those too. So
yeah. So in the beginning, did you just feel like you weren't getting anything done because you were just planning on doing it tomorrow, or what was that experience?
Yes, I felt overwhelmed. I felt frustrated because I could never get there. I am a night person, night owl. I love to work at night. But I think one of the reasons is because, now everybody's asleep. I can focus on my stuff. In any case, I think it's absolutely vital to reserve time slots. So for me, that was my biggest lesson. And in fact, there are tools, and I don't have to tell you, Beth, that, because but there are tools out there that can help us, really keep that system in place and respect your time. But I think that's my biggest lesson recently.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people become entrepreneurs because they don't want a boss and they want freedom to schedule their own time. But if they aren't scheduling their own time and they're just doing it willy-nilly, like you said, then that freedom becomes too tempting, right? In some ways, it can just be like, oh, I don't really feel like doing it right now. I'll do it later. And when no one there to overlook what you're doing but yourself, you have to create basically a faux boss, right? You said, with this technology, alerts, reminders, this is when I do this. So yeah, I love that. I think it's a really common problem. It was certainly a problem for me when I started being an entrepreneur, was blocking out the time and getting the most important things done. I'm also very guilty of of doing the easiest things instead of doing the most important things. So I'm really thoughtful about saying this is the time when you do this activity, the one you don't want to do. Um, yeah, something I really value. So great, that's awesome. And so, oh, do you have anything else to share on that?
Oh, no, I was just going to say, I think one of the most attractive things in being an entrepreneur is that you manage your own time, but that's kind of a double-edged sword, because yeah, you really need to keep on it, not manage your own time as if, I have some time off. You don't. It's your thing to be.
Yeah, a lot of discipline in being an entrepreneur, a lot of discipline. Absolutely. Okay, so this podcast is brought to us by Climb the Small Business Book Club. And so talk to me about a business book that's meant a lot to you, that's been really helpful, or a business book or two or three. I'd love to hear what has been helping you in your business.
Well, I really I'm not going to tell you anything groundbreaking. It's really these bestsellers that probably your audience has heard of. But for me, I think The Atomic Habits by James Clear is really a great book, exactly because it stresses that idea that, do not focus on goal setting, just focus on the system to get to those goals. So for me, that was really important. And then make it attractive, and just reduce the steps between you and that behavior change you want. Like a very silly example, Beth, but I realized that I would not go run in the morning because I would have to get to the drawer and then and the leggings and the sweater. So I just put everything in a hanger by the door. And I just reduced the number of steps to actually do that behavior change. Like really simple things like that. And by the way, you may think, what does that have to do with her business? But actually starting the morning, as you know, with a little light exercise, it pumps you up for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So James Clear, I really love that book. Then the one thing, let me not get the author wrong. The One Thing by Gary Keller and Jay Papasan. Hope I'm saying his last name right. And the subheading is great. The subtitle: The Surprisingly Simple Truth Behind Extraordinary Results. And it's really this very simple idea that you feel overwhelmed by like a project, and you just have to focus on one most important task of that project. And I used to do the opposite. I did everything else except the most important thing. So of course that they suggest a system to go about it, but those two books for me were very helpful.
I love it. Yeah. And I mean, the one thing plays into what I was just talking about that I often avoid. I think we all do. Like you said, the one thing, because it's often the hardest and it's the most consequential. So you're nervous about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much easier to answer emails or, do whatever.
Exactly.
Edit a podcast. It's not very hard to edit a podcast. And so I often do that to avoid something that might take a little deeper thought and be a little impactful. So awesome. Yeah, it's a really important thing to learn as an entrepreneur. Okay. And then our last discussion here is about community. And I know you've been a part of the Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center, both as a student and as an instructor. So talk to me about your experience with that community.
I really loved how you said as a student and as an instructor. As a student, I took your class, Beth. I absolutely loved it. And I took other webinars, and I just thought, I had just moved from Houston here, and I thought, oh my gosh, I mean, how can Renaissance offers all of these for free? So I think everybody small business owners have to take advantage of this amazing resource. Then as an instructor, I started doing some webinars, mostly on social media marketing and web development, Shopify, all those good things. And it's been just a treat to get to work with Renaissance clients. We call them Renaissance clients, although the whole work is free for them, right? Mm-hmm. And I work one-on-one with them as a consultant, building their websites or helping with some small detail on their existing websites that they want to tweak or something. but it's amazing to see the commitment they have to their business. So that part I absolutely love. And the webinars, unfortunately, I think we're all kind of suffering from Zoom burnout these days. But fortunately, I think things are going in person, the seminars,
Some of
training.
them, yep.
So
Yeah.
that's exciting. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a wonderful experience.
Awesome. All right. Well, Anna, that is our podcast. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Beth. This was wonderful. Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Climb the Small Business Book Club, where entrepreneurs go to learn, discuss, apply, and grow. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to subscribe at Apple, Spotify, or Google Podcasts, or follow us on Instagram at Climb Book Club. And always remember, mistakes are inevitable, perfection's impossible. So let's embrace the mistake.